Hello, everyone. Just putting some stuff together here so that I can broadcast delightfully. Great. Almost there. Nice. Now, we're going to put our music up, and then we're going to be good to go. Blah, blah, blah. Here we are. All right. Let me take this brightness down slightly. Makes it a little easier to read overall. All right. Put a little, camera's a little slanty today. There we go. Nice. Nice. Hello, everyone. So today is day 3 of C major. I do 5 days of work on each scale, and day 3 is moving day, which means that I start to move the tempos faster today in anticipation of the fastest days being day 4 and 5. Day 3 I call moving day. Moving tempos. Trying to extrapolate all of the ease and evenness that I worked on days 1 and 2 to start to slide that into more elevated tempo work. So, first things first, I'm breaking in this reed a little bit. You know, reeds are made of wood, so they have to be broken in because at first the wood is fairly new and you have to sort of temper it. So this reed is almost ready to be put into my performance box. This is a box that I use for reeds that I'm breaking in. And then this is my box that I use for reeds that I play on in concert. There's a humidifier inside of it and just generally keeps these reeds nice and flat against this glass surface. But until you get to be in that prime time, until you're one of the top 10 reeds that I have, you have to be broken in. This one sounds okay, so I'm going to play on it for a little while until it starts to give out, and then I'm going to switch it for a reed that has a little bit more maturity to it. So, first thing we're going to do to start with our technical work is we're going to just do a little tour through C major. And we do that by setting the metronome at 80 with an 8th note subdivision. And then I'm going to play C major in modes all the way from the lowest possible note that I could play, which is this low E, to the highest note that I in this particular scale, which is this high F. And I do that by playing 2 octaves in C major, no sharps, no flats, on each scale degree up the horn. So I start on the lowest note that you could possibly start on my instrument, which is low E. And let me put myself here so you can see me a little bit better. That's the lowest note that I could play. And I'm going to play 2 octaves in C major, no sharps, no flats. It'll be this. Like that. That's a frigid mode. So basically we're playing modes in 2 octaves up and down, or up the C major scale, starting on E, then the next note, F, then starting on the next note, G, all the way up to 2 octaves to high F and back. Very simple, very easy. Should sound like this. And all I'm listening for here is evenness, ease. I really want to feel my fingers feeling very easy as I pick them up and put them down in a simple kind of fashion. And my fingers are riding on this beautiful column of air that I'm throwing through the clarinet. Inside the instrument feels like it's vibrating slightly. And all of that activates my fingers to just rise up and then put themselves back down in a very easy and organized fashion. Same thing. Moving along to G now. 2, 3. That time I took a retake. I took three takes of that rather than 2 because I didn't like how I went over the top break in my second iteration. So it's okay to give yourself these extra chances at things, especially when you're sitting in a room by yourself. Don't sweat it. Give yourself the opportunity to correct an error without getting angry. I'm going to two more degrees. Right? And that's just a gentle stretch in C major to start out like what we're about to do, which is a pretty good elevated tour through the scale. Okay? And we're going to start that scale right now. This top part of these top 2 lines. Okay? So this is a full range scale. So we start on the tonic, go up to that high note, go down to the low note, and come back to the tonic. Should be something like this. That is a C major scale, not this. It's fine. That's fine. This is a better version of the scale. This is called a full range scale. Then I go up, start on the tonic, up to the top, down to the bottom, back to the tonic. Again, like this. That I consider to be a C major scale. Okay, full range. So we're going to try to put 4 of those in one breath now at 100 with the metronome, with the subdivision on, so I can listen twice a beat to how accurate I am. Here we go. 1, 2. Sorry, that's 80. I was like, wait, that feels slow. It was. Here's 100. 1. Yeah, not bad. And something that I do as part of my technique all the time is I half hole every high note. This hole right here, this top hole, you can either pop it off or you can half hole the whole time. I half hole everything so I can go back and forth just like this rather than that, which is clumsy. So I get used to half holing everything all the time. 4 more cycles, 1 breath. 1, 2. Not bad, fairly even. I'm really going to try to check in on myself a lot today because now that I'm starting to push the tempo, holy shit, I really want to make sure that that my basics are really good, because as I start to fly my fingers a little bit, I want them to stay exactly in the same neighborhood that I've put myself in. I just, the tempos go faster, but the technique remains the same. So I'm not thinking about how fast things are going. I'm thinking about how even is this? How beautiful is this? How much does my tone match all the way up and down the instrument? That's what I'm thinking about, not, oh my God, here are my fingers at all. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, and when I'm doing it right, my technique pops just a little bit. My fingers pop just the slightest bit. And I can really feel when things are moving correctly. And it only happens because of the quality of air that's going through my instrument. My fingers cannot do the technique by themselves. They have to be activated by the kind of air column that's inside the instrument. Same thing, 120, 4 iterations. 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, and once again, I give myself leave to screw up, right? I can screw up and it's fine. It doesn't matter at all, okay? It's just take the time for yourself in your practice room to mess up a little bit, but always take the time to clean those corners. 140, same thing, easy, even, beautiful all the way up and down. Not thinking about the technique, thinking about the beauty of the sound, the ease of it, and the evenness of what you're doing. 1, 2, 3. Not bad. Let's go again. 1, 2, 1, 2. All right, not bad. And so, since it's moving day, we're going to go halfway to our actual goal. Our actual goal is going to be 160 tomorrow, which is pretty quick. Today I'm going to go to 150, which is right here. We do the same thing. 1, 2, 3. One, two. One more for good luck. 1, 2. Yeah. So, if we've been working on it like we just have been, cranking it little by little, there's no difference in my mind when I'm making this happen between this tempo and 100, which is a full 1/3 slower than this, right? So I'm here. Feels the same as simply because I've worked on it in a fashion that just continually ramps it up but doesn't change the initial idea, which is of ease, evenness, loveliness. Well, I'm going to go on to this now. This is the arpeggio, the second line here. Third line, I guess. I'm going to leave out this first note because I don't give a shit about it. And you'll see here. All slurred first. Subdivision on, 100 on the metronome. A couple things here. One, I'm really trying to blow so I get these beautiful big intervals. But I'm also thinking technically. Not. What? 100. 1, 2. Always using the right hand for this E. There's no reason to switch off. Just use your right hand to beat a melody. I use my right hand for almost everything until I have to. Same thing. 2 iterations. 1, 2. All right. going to go to 110 now. I'm going to take the subdivision off, and I'm going to start to work on some of this articulation, this slur to tongue to, which is a very characteristic clarinet articulation. I'm going to work it on it three ways. I'm going to slur to tongue two. I'm going to tongue one, slur to tongue one, then tongue two, slur two, and in three iterations in order, like this. Good air, easy tongue, not too staccato, just bouncy. One. I'm using the exact same air when I'm slurring as I am when I'm tonguing. I'm only throwing my tongue in to stop the reed from vibrating, right? Because as the clarinet is playing in slow motion, you got like this really, I can put it here and it looks, you see that there's like, see that gap there? That's where the reed is vibrating back and forth really, 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 really fast. That's what's happening when I'm playing. This reed on the tip of this mouthpiece is going, oh shit, oh my God. Okay, and when I tongue, all I do is I just to stop that vibration. It doesn't take much, so my tongue just goes bip. It doesn't go slam. It doesn't need to do that. All I got to do is stop this reed from vibrating. That's how you stop articulating. Okay, don't think about jamming that into the tongue. All you got to do is all of that action will stop your reed from vibrating. Okay. So we're at 120. We're going to go back to slurs. Still try to keep it even and easy. There we go. One. Excuse me. Speaking of reeds, as I said, I was starting off with this one. It's starting to get a little weird on me, so I'm probably going to switch it off. Give it another day or two. One, two, one, two. Now here's our goal for today is 130. We're just moving it up a little bit. Tomorrow will be 140. Today's 130. I'm just going to try to keep it as even as easy as I can. Same idea, just a little faster. That's all. Easy and even. 1, 2, 1, 2. Not terrible. This reed is having trouble being super athletic, so I'm going to give it a break. Show you what this looks like. So this is a fairly new reed I've got here. I don't know if you could tell, the very tip of it is starting to get somewhat translucent, which means that it's got enough water in it now to start to be shitty. So I'm going to put it away. Not in my good box, in my second box. It's not ready yet for prime time, but it's getting there. It's close. It's not terrible. Let's try this one. There we go. Just a little bit more bounce. All right. Great. Moving on, we're going to go down to this third exercise. This is called interrupted scale. You can see that each scale degree has its own little... And that's how you want to think about it. You want to think... But in context, how you organize it makes a big difference. One. Okay, same thing. We're going to go to 120. Take the metronome off. I'm still thinking, trying to be very even. But in context. Yeah, that's getting there. That's getting there. Let's do it again. One. Yeah, it's getting there. Getting there. All right, 130 now. Here's our goal for today. 140 tomorrow. 130 today. Starts to move it. But I'm trying to keep the same idea of my technique. Easiness, ease, evenness. Just extrapolating the ideas that I've been building all day to not freak out my hands and just think about how beautiful it is. 1, 2, 1, 2. didn't love how I went over the top, but it's not terrible, so I'm going to give myself a break and not kill myself. All right, back to 100 as per usual. For these last bits here, these are called thirds. At the bottom. Take the repeat, breath, take the repeat. No articulation. Okay? Let's take that exact same idea, exact same kind of technique, and just move it up 20 clicks. 1, 2. All right. Here's our goal for today is 130. Pretty quick. Yep. Starting to get there. Oh, palindrome. I appreciate that. Thank you. That's nice. I haven't seen that one before. The only good one I know is like what? A man, a plan, a canal, Panama. There's a really good one though. What was it? Let me see if I can think of it while I switch out my reads. I appreciate that. Thank you for the palindrome. So what I'm doing right now is a couple of things. One, I have a shot glass full of water here. I know it could be anything because it's opaque, but it's water. And I just put my reed in a little bit, just give it a little bit. Like any sort of wood, if it's dry, a reed will be brittle and hard. But if it's a little wet, wood will bend. This is bamboo, which is a type of wood, right? So I'm just making sure that it's nice and bendy for me. Also, I'm going to swap out my instrument, which takes out all of the moisture in it. Always from the bottom, please. Never from the top. Always from the bottom. We've got this nice funnel here. Use it. All right? This is just a little bit of silk. It's very, very absorbent. And I'm good to go. Okay, so let's move on, shall we? Here we go. This is all available online for free at imslp.org. imslp.org has both of these things. This is Craps. You can see that on your title. The other stuff was Bearmon. Very old-fashioned, but very beautiful technical exercises. All right. 2 minutes, actually. Well, that's my brother, actually. We had a funeral business together. I sound this way because it's 10 a.m. and I smoke a lot of weed at night, buddy. That's why. If you want to know the honest truth. You know, Undertaker threw mankind in hell in a cell. Ooh, forget about it. Okay. So, here we are in these exercises. These are my secret, not so secret weapons. What I'm going to do is I'm going to set the metronome and leave it. Here you're at 55. I'm going to play each one of these exercises through 4 times before I get to this final bar. Okay? And it gets to be pretty gnarly. By the time you get to this stuff, it's pretty fast. So, start moderately, move really fast in there. Okay? I'm just going to go in order here. Numero uno. Now, obviously, like, that's a super simple exercise. But if you're engaged with your brain the whole time, it's actually not. I'm thinking, is this perfectly even? Is every seam between every note as continuous as it could possibly be? Am I as legato as I could possibly be? Am I blowing constant air, blowing air between the notes to make them really sticky? Or not? Is pretty hard when you're doing it right. Number 2, very legato still, even with the articulation. Now, with those articulated notes at the end, I'm making them really, really, really fat. I'm not going too short. It just sounds short. Okay? Because I'm actually going, which is very, very medium short. If I really wanted to go pecky short, but I'm not looking for that. I'm looking for bounce. So remember that the word staccato means separated, and it does not mean short. So at tempos like this, you want to get the fattest note within your articulation as you possibly can. It's not about the articulation, it's about the note itself. The articulation is just the front and the beginning and the end of the note. The actual note is the important part. Number 3, no tongues in here. All legato. cheat if you wanted to throw some articulation in like this. Because sometimes coming down over that top break is a little difficult, but really when you get better at this exercise, you really want to just go completely legato all the way through. And the only way to really accomplish that is to be thinking about the beauty and quality of the high notes that stick out, these notes. If you think about those notes, everything else will line itself up like this. Okay, not a single tongue in that exercise for me that time, but it just kind of flows because I'm only thinking about how beautiful those high notes are. Everything else takes care of itself because I'm thinking about a technical issue in a musical fashion, and technical problems have musical solutions. Okay, number 4. And again, the challenges of these early ones that are just 16th notes is to make it just as beautiful and as even and as legato as possible. It is a challenge. But man, these are like fast, long tones. If you can get through these, it's while playing with beautiful legato, then you're really, really playing the clarinet really well in a very, very classical form. Number 5, first staccato, second legato. So like this. Now legato and connected, but still with the tongue. Yeah, it's infinitely more challenging to do it that way, but there are two things to make sure that you're doing. One is to make sure that you're withdrawing your register key pretty on purpose. Okay, don't be lazy. If you can really make sure that you're pulling it off right before you go down to the lower notes, you're in good shape. Moving on, same tempo, different subdivision. 1. Yeah, and here's another spot where I find it really, really important to be half-holing. go back and forth between these notes by half-holing and squeeze and moving your finger like this rather than back and forth like this. I don't dig that at all. I'm a half-hole guy. All day, every day, twice on Sunday. Number 7. Just trying to stay even and easy as the technique starts to get a little bit more elevated. Yeah, and that last bit could be difficult on the clarinet again. But again, I'm only really listening to the top notes. That really makes it much, much easier and more musical. Once again, technical problems have musical solutions. Number 8. Now we're into full-on 30-second notes. Still want to keep it even and easy as much as possible. Don't rush. Drag the metronome. Be back into the back pocket. Not in the front pocket. Back pocket. Just so close to being really, 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 really good. That's why I'm on this a little bit, because this is really close to being exactly what I want it to be. Yeah, that one started to feel pretty good because it started, not only was it quick, but it felt even and easy and not forced at all. And that's what I'm looking for in my technique. Even, easy, and not forced. That's why I do this work. So I can have these tools in my pocket, okay? Or in my bag, or wherever the fuck I keep my tools. All right. We're going to go through number 12 because number 13 starts A minor. Whoop, we don't give a shit about that. We're all in C major. Here we go. Tuck, tick, tock, tick, tock. 1, 2. I still think probably the best fingering for that is the normal one. I definitely am half holding all the way up to F though. Half hold down, half hold down. Otherwise, you could cheat if you wanted to. You could vent this F with this A and then vent the E with the G sharp key. So you could go. But I just prefer to go. Oops. I just prefer to finger things regularly if I possibly can. Number 10, same speed. Everything's the same speed. See, not only am I building speed into my technique now, but I'm maintaining that beautiful control and evenness. That's why I start slow, because you got to maintain all the way through. Number 10 again. Now, because of the subdivision changes, I'm going to move my tempo to 37 with triplets on. Same exact tempo, just a different subdivision. 1, 2, 3. And at this kind of tempo, man, it's really hard not to rush. You really want to take this fast, but you can't. You got to hold it back. You got to keep the tempo on the back pocket. Well, let's finish it off strong. Don't let off until it's over. Number 12. All right. And that, my friends, is a workout in C major. 54 minutes, probably 45 to 50 minutes if I'm not talking. So not bad, even with elevated tempos. I'm getting through everything here in under an hour, which means that there's no excuse to not do it. If it only takes 45 minutes to make you into a better musician every day, it makes no sense to not. Thank you for coming. I will be around later. Love you. Wait a minute. I tried to leave. Holy shit.